Okay, today's video would be, what if Joe, the German, he tries to form an empire? You know what the first thing it would do would be? It would be take Luxembourg, because Germany is already rich, but then get some more rich. I don't think able to get richer from Luxembourg cities. So that's Belgium. Sorry about that, guys. Here's so many. It would take like that part and it would move up here and go boom, taking it over. And then they would go over here to they would attack Austria next. They would go through here. They would take this part over here. It would be like, yeah, all too powerful. And then they would take Liechtenstein. How much? No, just to get it over with. They would just crumble it up. It doesn't got no. I don't think he got the military. They would attack Switzerland, but the Alps are down here, so they wouldn't be that hard. So they would start. Let's see what the Alps are probably where Switzerland's borders of like Italy. That's so weird. Behind him, so they would take that to call Switzerland. They would attack Czech Republic. So this is, and you know, so they would attack it until they take the capital and then crumbling, a lot crumbling. Then like there's Slovakia, because they will still think Czechoslovakia is taking them in the 80s still. And then they will take that land. That would be pretty fun. They would take Ukraine. It's. They would decide to just like. Just know what happened. And they would attack Romania. They want to take the coast, so they take the coast. There's coastland. Like that. You'll take the city. Now they'll New York and Asia. Now they'll probably the longest country in the world now. Yeah, they stretch from Denmark to Turkey. That's pretty far. Yeah. That's a long country. The next they would attack Belgium. They would move along Western Europe, and so they were like, yoink, boom, shakalaka. Then they would move into the Netherlands. Pretty easy still. But a lot of the soldiers weren't there because they were in the Nether right now, trying to look for trying to get little skeleton skulls. And they would attack Poland. And they know. And the same things happened in World War II. No, that would be so Poland dead, but still, oh my, no. They attack Denmark. They don't have massive oil fields, and no, they don't let Norway in the land. So yes, Norway. So they attack Norway. Like, let me take. They were like, we need to take you for oil fields. And Finland is like, can I have the coast of the Black Sea at least? And they're like, sure, kid. I forgot, what is the name of this? The Arctic Ocean. And now Finland is longer. Let me take that one. Now Finland is long. Since they took out Denmark, they get Greenland now. You know how Denmark owns Greenland, so it was like, yeah. They attacked Sweden because they have still good oil fields. This land, they take islands and stuff from Sweden. What? They're like, sure. Yeah. Okay. I'm Finland says. Yeah. to attack Sweden. I start to attack Sweden still. This becomes allies, but now that Finland is extra long, they stretch from like sea to so like yay. Yeah. They asked for Kaliningrad, they say sure. Now they attack Italy. I mean France. They move through the border and they're like, yeah. They fight so hard, the Germans. And they take, they're very close to the capital. They go to the capital and they take that. Now, so the Germans after a few years, and soon France completely oofs. And they're like, no! And Morocco joins, and now they're richer. And not very much, but they still take it. So they take Spanish territory. Now the map is Spanish, and they take the island. So they're like, they want to take on. The Germans are pretty greedy. Don't be greedy like them. Yeah, don't be greedy. No, this is a war thing. Can you be greedy in a war? Oh yeah, you can, but you don't really know. They split the country in half. Now they don't do. And they slowly crumble France. Gibraltar. It's a country. Sweet. Marco's like, you can have it. Now they're getting the vibes, like, like the Roman Empire. And they moved through all these countries. Greece was harder, but they took it. Bulgaria. Took all these little countries. Serbia. Which Hungary. And it was harder. Romania, and after a few years they found it. Now they want to fight. Now they're fighting. They take the island because not much people live there. Soldiers take it, and then they move to Sicily. They take Sicily, and there's a lot of soldiers there, so we steal, but they get all of them. They move through the boot. Part. This is not even fault. At first, I always thought that was the ball, because like Sicily was like the. I think about if you squish Sicily down a bit, that can be like move a foot, and then that need a ball. There's no round, right? Yeah. You would say that though, but they keep taking Italy's land, so they get to then they take Vatican City. Control of Germany. Did that come up here? Like, but then slowly it only falls. Portugal, land border. Go through all these states, and then they're like, no. Now they're really getting Roman vibes. Now they do look like Rome. Maybe not like the Middle East. Yeah. But they're now in 3 continents. They're in mostly Europe, but a bit in Africa. Wait, so The Roman Empire was in 3 continents, it seems like. Interesting. And Ukraine slowly falls under control of... Couldn't hold it up for a bit, but now they're really falling under control. And Germany and Russia make a deal that they can be allies. They've been attacked by Belarus. Then they just take these resources. It's kind of smaller than Russia. And Finland joins. I'd keep paying I know, and pretty easy, but still. If I Turkey, get all Turkey, get like all this. Take Syria, take Fufu, Lebanon, Palestine, and Israel. Go for these islands. And to take Jordan. And now they're really becoming the now they're really becoming the Roman Empire, you could say. Yeah. So they take a lot of land, and still they take a lot of Nile, and they really do look like, but they really look like the Empire. I forgot what it says. The Roman Empire, yeah. Big Rome. I know they didn't have all the modern day users, but here they do. Okay, so they take Asia. Pretty straightforward. They go through the top part of Algeria. Algeria's supposed to be really strong, but now they're kind of weak. And I want the United States to always be the biggest. So I know people, but yeah, it's because I live in the US. I'm really American. Malta. Take Malta. It's pretty good. Portugal has islands, but those islands, they float away. And they go through the Mediterranean. They appear right here. And then they become Portugal Islands. Here now inside of Mediterranean. They yoink. What about Iceland? And now you're in all of Europe, except the Crimea. Not really important to me, so if these two would have fight, who do you think would win? They probably have the longest border in the history. Finland to I think Azerbaijan. Literally. So they probably had the world's longest border. Probably. And the other thing is because then if I was really because I don't know, but this is the video ends. Do you think we'd win Germany or Russia? They attack each other. Germany starts to win. Look, they fight each other. And the enemies. What if? Who do you think would win here? Do you think who would win? Because the Germans are pretty strong, but the Russians are also strong here. Well, I don't know, but Moscow's getting Moscow, and but comment down below who you think would win. And I just post on those. Show me. I think would actually win in a battle. Do you think who would win? Russia? Looks like Russia's Germany's the new biggest. Well, in real life, who do you think would win in a battle? Russia or Germany? Comment down below, please. Yo, comment who would win, Russia or Germany? Comment down below. Yeah, comment down below. Now.